Welcome to today's yoga challenge. Today we're going to start in a seated position on our mat. You can either sit on your feet like I am now, or you can come into hero pose, so keeping your knees together. Bring your feet apart and come to sit on the mat between your feet. If you struggle to meet the mat, you're welcome to sit on a bolster or a yoga block if that's more comfortable for you. So take a moment to find your position. And we're going to start with a breathing exercise to center ourselves on our mat. It's going to be a bit of box breathing. So bring your chin to your chest. Take a deep breath in through your nose and raise your head up. Look up to the ceiling. And you're going to hold. Breathe out slowly through your mouth and bring your chin slowly back down to your chest. And pause. Breathe in through your nose and raise your head up. And hold. Breathe out through your mouth and slowly bring your chin back down towards your chest. And pause. Breathe in through your nose, raise your chin up. And hold. And breathe out through your mouth and bring your chin back down. And pause. Let your breathing return to its natural rhythm. We're now going to do a series of warm-ups starting with the shoulders. So bring the tips of your fingers onto the tops of your shoulders. Bring your elbows together. And we're just going to make some nice big circles, dropping the elbows down and out, making as big circles as you can. And change direction and make circles in the opposite direction. And come back down to center and bring your hands down and come back with your hands up and pray. We're going to do some wrist circles. So starting with your palms touching, rotate your hands down so the back of your hands are together and all the way around so that your palms are again touching. And we're going to do a couple of these rotations. Go as fast or slowly as you need to. And let's change direction now, doing some rotations in the opposite direction. Bring the back of your hands together, come right around till your palms are back touching in the front. We're now going to do a few leg stretches. So come and bring your legs out from underneath you and straight in front of you. We're just going to stretch your ankles. So point your toes away from you and then flex your feet and point your toes towards you. Breathing in, breathe out, point your toes away. Breathe in, flex your feet, point your toes towards you. Breathe out, toes away from you, pointing those feet. Breathe in, toes towards you. Breathe out, point your toes away. And breathe in, point those toes towards you. Breathe out, point your toes away. Breathe in, point those toes towards you. Breathe out, point your toes away. And then come back to neutral. We're going to just do a few knee stretches. So bend your knees, feet flat on the mat, arms out, come roll your back, lay on the ground. Bend your knees up, bring your feet quite far apart so that you can do some nice big circles with your feet, making the most of the movement from your knees. And let's change direction and make some big circles now in the opposite direction. One final rotation and then hug your knees into your chest. And if you're able to, rock yourself and roll up into a seated position. Otherwise, just gently come up into a seated position and then you're going to come back onto your knees. And you're going to come up on your knees and we're going to do a few hip circles just to warm up our hips. So just from the hip, bend and make as big circles as you can. Make one final rotation and come to center and change direction and make big circles in the opposite direction now. And one final rotation and come back to center, and well done. We are now going to do our first pose, which is gate pose. So walk your hands down your legs and down across your mat so that you're on all fours. Take your right leg and extend it straight out sideways. Try to bring your foot flat on the mat, your toes are pointing forward. Then walk your hands back, roll your spine and come back up. Place your right hand on your right leg and slide it down as far as you can comfortably go. Then bring your left hand up and over your side, and we're going to hold you for a few breaths. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, come back up. And then slowly walk your hands down and in front of you. So they're on the ground again. Bring that right leg back. And now extend out your left leg. Have your foot flat on the mat, toes pointing forward, walk your hands up. Left hand on left leg, slide down as far as you can comfortably go. Right hand over your head, and let's hold you up for a few breaths. And take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, come back up. Walk your hands down and bring that leg back so you're once again on all fours. And then making sure your knees are underneath your hips. Walk your hands forward, drape your body down and bring your forehead down to the mat in puppy pose. You can drop your elbows down to the mat, and we're going to hold here for a few breaths. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, slowly come up. We're going to be doing upward dog. So lengthen out your legs, bring your hips forward, feet flat on the mat, and you're going to gently push yourself up onto the backs of your feet or the tops of your feet, so that only the tops of your feet and the palms of your hands are making contact with the mat. You're going to look up, extend your neck so that your ears are away from your shoulders, and we're going to hold you out for a few breaths. Nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, drop your knees down to the mat, push your hips back, and we're going to do child's pose. Make sure your knees and feet are together, and gently push yourself to come and sit on your feet. Bring that forehead down to the mat. If you can't reach the mat without lifting up off of your feet, you can use a block to rest your forehead on, or you can alternatively form fists with your hands and rest your forehead on your fists. If you can, hands at your side, palms facing up, and drop the shoulders, and we're going to stay here for a few breaths. Okay, take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, bring your hands to underneath your shoulders and gently push yourself up. Walk your hands forward on the mat, then come down onto your elbows. Lengthen your legs out behind you into Sphinx Pose so your feet fall apart naturally. Your elbows are underneath your shoulders, your hands are flat on the mat in front of you, and look up. And let's hold here for a few breaths. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, bring your hands to hold the opposite elbows. You can move your elbows slightly forward. And we're going to do a variation on the restorative pose of half frog. So I want you to bend your right knee and bring it up alongside you at a 90-degree angle to your hip. If it's more comfortable for you, you can walk your elbows forward and come to rest your forehead on your elbows. But if you can, have your elbows up and then look up ahead of you. And we're just going to hold you in this beautiful hip opener. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, bring that right leg back. And now let's do the other side. So breathe in, and as you breathe out, bend your left knee, bring your leg up. So the thigh is 90 degrees to your body, and your calf is 90 degrees to your thigh. You can stay up on your elbows, or you can walk your elbows forward and rest your forehead on your elbows, whichever is most comfortable for you. Take a moment and find your position, and we're going to hold you for a few breaths. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, bring that left leg back, and then you can lower yourself down onto the mat, then roll over onto your side, and then when you're able to, roll over onto your back, and hug your knees into your chest, and we're going to hold you up for a few breaths. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, extend out your left leg and continue to hug your right knee towards your chest for a few more breaths. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, bring up that left knee. Now extend out your right leg and hug your left knee in towards your chest for a few more breaths. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, hug in both knees briefly. Then release and lengthen your legs. And now let's get ready for Savasana, final resting pose. So let your feet fall apart naturally, your arms at your side, shoulders away from your ears. Palms are facing upward, and you can close your eyes or lower your gaze and rest here for a moment while we take in all the good work we have just done for our bodies. A closing mantra for today. I open my heart to love, trust, and inner peace. And let's come back to our bodies and take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you can wriggle your fingers and toes and move your head from side to side. When you're ready, bend your knees, roll over onto your side, and use your hands to push yourself up into a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and know that I appreciate you. Hands in prayer in front of your heart. Go well. Namaste.